9 hours of sleep, everything of that sort. I couldn't go out past 7, 8 o'clock at night for even after my 21st birthday because I was like on my 21st birthday I was in bed by 9 o'clock that night because I was in prep. So like yeah, on my 21st, but it's part of the journey, and I it makes me also proud in a sense to say like, hey, yeah, I turned 21 and I was in bodybuilding prep, and I couldn't really do anything, but I did it. Just like little things like that, like, hey, I worked out on Christmas, or hey, I did this. Like, I like those little tiny goals that make me proud of myself, kind of keep me going too. So
Well, I'm kind of like that now. I'm 50. So
yeah,
I don't want to leave the house past 7 o'clock. I don't.
I
Nah,
I'm a
I used to
homebody.
remember in my younger days.
Hmm.
Me too. I'm a kind of my younger days. I used to go have a good time. I used to work a couple of jobs. Most of the time I worked a lot. I worked two jobs by
Hmm.
the time I was 20 something. I was working
Hmm.
at a gas station, working textiles, and then by the time I was in my mid to late 30s, I was working the same factory, and also I was working in as we call it, a gentleman's club at night. So guys be talking to George, you work around those women, man. You working all those nights, dude. If they're not making no money and it's a bad night, they're not happy. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
Sometimes they get drunks out, worry about people want to fight. I've
Hmm.
broken up fights between strippers. I mean, it's not always fun. But the
Yeah,
thing is,
yeah.
yeah, anything worth having is worth doing, and
Right.
especially when you're young, when you have that advantage of youth. That's good.
Hmm.
You want to be an old man like me. I got a pacemaker, two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and
Hmm.
I'm like this. So, but it's great to see that you have a passion for this, and to understand how the sport has evolved over time. Like,
Hmm.
it's like is anybody in the sport you really a fan of that you follow that really inspires you?
I mean, there's so many. I really, obviously, I mentioned Alyssa Kiesling earlier. I love Andrea. I love Michaela Aycock. Even she was one of also the ones I followed really, really younger off. I love her. She's awesome. Iris. Let's see. I love the guys too. I love some Jay Cutler. Martin Fitzwater, Seabum. Obviously, I feel like everybody loves Seabum a little bit. I really love the old
Everybody see
school
them.
though. Like Jay Cutler and Tom Platz. Tom Platz is really who inspired my leg days. I feel like because I go balls to the wall, and a lot of times I'll literally put a YouTube video on of him screaming and just let it go and do a set. So I really love a lot of those. Ronnie, obviously. I remember walking around in high school saying nothing but a
Yeah,
peanut.
baby.
Yeah, yeah. I would be walking around nothing but a peanut.
Right, wait,
Yeah,
right, wait.
yeah. I was that annoying kid. Like, and now that like
Yeah,
I got older, I'm so glad I stopped doing that, because when I was like 16 and nothing but a peanut, like I was like I had to be annoying the shit out of everyone around me. But hey, I'm glad I got it on my system. But I'm glad I did it too,
yeah.
because I learned. But yeah, I there's so many, and
Especially your
I
parents, like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
say, baby doll, I don't like to hear you say you're nothing but a peanut. And that thing is about, and you talk about isolation, it's tough because you know what? Get into sport, friendships change, life
Hmm.
change, people may not stick around because they
Hmm.
don't understand it, especially your
Hmm.
family. Like, what's your family structure? Like, you have your mom and dad, brothers, sisters, what
Yes.
they think about you as a bodybuilder.
So my mom and dad, and my sister, like they support me as much as they can. My mom's a nurse and my dad's a piping designer. So my mom medically, like she's a genius pretty much. So she knows the things that come with bodybuilding. Steroids usage, prep things. Just the trials and tribulations you're gonna put your body through. She knows about it. So in that aspect, she just worries about me for my safety and everything, which I love her for. She's a little pushy sometimes, but like I get it. I'm her, she loves me and wants me to be safe. My dad is just like, go Casey. He really doesn't know much of anything. He just wants me to be safe also. And my sister, very grateful for my sister too. They all support me the best way they can. My sister's been great. She actually drove up to all these past, and except for nationals, my first two competitions, she drove up to do my makeup because I'm not very makeup savvy, and I didn't want to pay $200 for my makeup done. So she drove up and did my makeup, which she's MVP for. But they support me. They know I love it, and they know I like love it to death. And they support me because they know I love it and because they love me. So I'd say that much. So, and my family, they're kind of confused, or they don't really know. Like my mom, she got to come to my first competition, and she was like, "This is her first time ever seeing any of this," and I think she understood a little bit more once she saw it firsthand. But my family, like distant family, cousins, and everything, I think they're finally starting to understand a little bit more too. I guess after showing up to Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving with meal plans and stuff after 5 years, he started to catch on. But seeing pictures and videos and everything, they're like, "Oh, so this is what you do." But they support me. My little cousins tell me all the time that they show me off to all their friends. They're like, "That's not your cousin. Like that's someone famous or something like that." They're like, "No, this is my cousin." So hearing stuff like that is kind of awesome. I feel like a little superhero sometimes. So or at least my little cousins made me feel that way. So it's been awesome in that aspect.
Well, with children, there are a lot, easy to impress. You don't have to do too
Mhm.
much anything fancy. They like look at
Yeah,
you
that's a
like
good
this
thing.
big superhero. You're coming in,
Yes.
and your parents, they want you to do what you's good for you. Especially your mom wants you to be safe. Your dads, you're his little girl. He wants you to
Hmm.
do what you like to still be his little girl. I don't,
Hmm.
sometimes I think one thing is sometimes you got to think about it when they go to the shows and they see their daughter in a sparkly bikini and this guy's over and say, "Who's that chick with
Yeah.
the buff body?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I say,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's my daughter." I say, "Yeah, that's your daughter." Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
I
good
think
because
that's part of the
that's
reason
good to
my
have
dad hasn't
sport.
came yet. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, because you've seen guys like because there is a community of us, and
Yes.
we are muscle pair schmoes. And there's a schmo saying, "When your ladies rock hard, we'll rock hard." But that's a different situation. But you really have to respect the work y'all put into. It. And like I said
Hmm.
again, the expense compared to the men. And I keep saying
Hmm.
this: the banana hammocks and the board shorts, they don't have to pay as much in like you women do, other than
Right.
just your entry fees, hair and
Hmm.
makeup, jewelry, your posing
Yep.
suits right there. That's car note, that's your rent, that's a
Hmm.
mortgage. Um, you know, to the shows, entry, so much involved with it. And I
Hmm.
wish there was more like of benefits, something like a little discount. Because I think somebody told me the nationals it was 375 for each division.
Yes. Yes. And
When you're
my
going through, you
nationals.
just you,
Yeah, to register my nationals and everything was more than my mortgage on my house right now. So,
yeah,
yeah,
you in South
it,
Carolina. We are it's
mhm.
cheaper down here. It's cheaper down live down
Yeah,
south.
it's so
But that's
expensive.
crazy.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very expensive sport, and
And one thing I see is
that was a
sponsorship
big
does
thing to
help because
regret.
yeah, and
Huh?
sponsorship does help because you ever think about have you been approached about sponsors or anything like that?
Yeah, I've had a few people reach out to me. I'm just trying to be careful about, who I go with and everything because obviously I want to get the best deal that I can. And I don't want to go ahead and like sign over for like a year contract when I know that also I'll be competing again in 2025. So I want to kind of, see if I can get a little bit more. I don't expect to get some big brand to come and sponsor me. Just because I know that what they're looking for, because sex sells, and I've fairly masculine, big muscular women. And if most people are gonna look at gym girls stuff like that, they're gonna be I don't wear leggings, so they're not gonna get sub legging sales off me stuff like that. So, so for the most part, I'm kind of screwed with those girl brands or whatnot you want to call them. But there's some like really like down to earth hardcore brands that I love and would love to get with. So I'm hoping to get a really good sponsorship here soon, but we will see.
hmm Yeah, yeah, that's good because I know a lot of ladies for them to make money, sponsorship does help. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
will do certain sites, or as I call them, excuse my language, I call them the beat the meat websites. That's what they are. We all know that. We
With
meet
fans,
that.
yes.
But
Yeah.
if there was a way, yeah, OnlyFans, her biceps, it's a long list. Hey, I told you again, I'm a muscle purge smoke. I know these things. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I think most definitely, if you find something that works with you and your
Mm-hmm.
personality, that you feel like can really contribute to your process as a
Mm-hmm.
bodybuilder, that's
Right.
good. Like I said,
Right.
again, it's a tough sport.
Mm-hmm.
And the sport has evolved over years. And we talk about the Iris Kyles and the Linda Murrays and the Bev Francis. Bev was the
Mm-hmm.
one who really changed the sport. If you ever saw the
Yes.
documentary Pumping Iron,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pumping Iron 2, actually the women, she
Yeah.
really brought in a look that was just totally different. I remember watching that. Her and Richard
Mm-hmm.
McLeish and Carla Dunlap on the stage together.
Mm-hmm.
And then her last Olympia was 91. And she just looked like she came in just huge, conditioned. It was like the light shining off her body. It was just, I think, her best look
Mm-hmm.
ever. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
Linda and Iris and Kim Zavetsky and Andrea and Angela Yo. It's just, and then
Mm-hmm.
you look at it in women's physique. You look at Sarah Vilgas and Natalia Cuejo and so many ladies that have come in the sport over time. And like I said, the guys too. I grew up telling Arnold Schwarzenegger, Arnold. He was like Arnold, and it's not a
Yeah.
Toma. But here's one thing I'm not a fan of his politics towards the women. He'll
Yes.
keep
Yeah.
the bikini and wellness at the show, but you push out the
Mm-hmm.
divisions that really, you want to be more inclusive, not just to the TNA divisions. You really want
Mm-hmm.
to be inclusive to the divisions that really started the overall divisions.
Right. Right. And the more you take away from our divisions and everything, the worse off it's going to be. 'Cause especially if you have, Arnold as himself is such a high platform, especially for the bodybuilding community. Everybody knows Arnold. Like, who doesn't know Arnold? But when you have someone like that that's gonna, kind of deteriorate towards women's bodybuilding and women's physique, it's very like, kind of. I'm sure I'm not the only like women's bodybuilder. It feels like their heart got a little stomped on when that happened, because it's like, do you even like respect us? Do you care about us? Like, things of that sort. Like, you're supposed to be the head of bodybuilding. I expect you to, say, hey, like, these girls deserve recognition, just like the NBA does for the WNBA.
Mhm. Well, one guy who has given women's bodybuilding life, I got every time I say his name, I got to do this. Yo, Jake, I want that money. I want that. That's Mr. Jake Woods. I am a fan of his. He saved
Mm-hmm.
women's bodybuilding. He stepped there with
Mm-hmm.
wings of strength, brought them
Mm-hmm.
back to the Olympia, got their
Mm-hmm.
own show, the Rising Phoenix, and it's one
Yes.
of the few shows where it's exclusively all the women's divisions, no banana hammocks, no board shorts, just something for the ladies. Because you know what,
Mm-hmm.
there's not that many shows for you. Just maybe just like there's one show. There's the Vancouver Island that's going to come up
Mm-hmm.
next year. That's up there, the Triple O Dynasty. But this year,
Yeah.
next year, they're not going to have women's physique. There's so much opportunities for
Mm-hmm.
women. It just they need the recognition and need support
Right.
within IFB and NPC. We got here's
Mm-hmm.
a couple guys coming through. Shout out to my man, um, shout out to the man, KL the Wanderer. He says, "What's up?" Also, shout out to my man, the art of female muscle, aka Jeremy. He says, "Hey George, hey brother." Also, he says this. My man, Jeremy says, "Casey, you have a very impressive physique. Did a great job this year.
I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
brother. Like I said, hey, yeah, hey, Casey, might get a new girl in here. These guys go crazy. I just they just like, and yeah, So, one thing I often ask you, ladies, especially after a long time show, after being on prep,
Mm-hmm.
after sometimes things that makes you stranger, make you stronger. Tell me, Casey, what was that thing that you wanted the most after that last show? That thing that was calling, that thing that completed you.
Honestly, so the first thing I had post show was Dutch Bros protein coffee, because their Dutch Bros is only in Texas, and I never had Dutch Bros. I never even been to Texas before until this show, so I never been to Louisiana, Mississippi, or any of the states we drove through really for the first time too. So, but yeah, the first thing I had was a Dutch Bros protein coffee. I think it was like a salted caramel protein coffee. I was bouncing off the walls, could not stop yapping my mouth off until probably 1 o'clock that morning. It was like two shots of espresso. I was bouncing off the walls. And then post show, and then I went and got fajitas from On the Border, little place in Texas. But I did like fajitas. They didn't even give me my tortillas though when I ordered fajitas, so that kind of pissed me off. But I fixed rice, my own rice and everything. So I had like pretty much all the meat you could ask for and veggies and just went ham. So, but yeah, that was, and then we went to a breakfast
Yeah.
place that morning because it was kind of weird. I didn't really get to go like, I didn't really want to go crazy. It took me 4 hours to actually eat my one meal. But because one of the guys we were staying with, Chris, he was competing that Saturday. So we pretty much got to go out that Saturday night. So it was, but we got that morning. I
Yeah,
had like a breakfast burrito, and it was great.
yeah. I mean, especially food is an important part of the process of bodybuilding. It's
Hmm.
both the weapon and the
Hmm.
right foods is good for you. Then you get that opportunity because when you're on a prep and you're dieting, I know
Hmm.
Nasir has some refeed or cheat meal plans for you doing your prep because it helps you because you don't want to deny your body too much of those things.
Hmm.
But then get the
Yeah.
opportunity, like ladies say some ladies say they love the good old fashioned burger and fries, pizza.
Hmm.
I had the strangest ones like sushi. I've been poor, but near that poor that eat cold fish and raw. So I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
But everybody has their taste in life. I know. He
Yeah.
got a comment from my man, uh, Jeremy, the art of female muscle. And he says this. He says, "What does next year look like for you in terms of shows, Casey? So, what's the plan, or do you have a plan?
So we have a little bit of plan. Obviously, everything's subject to change, depending on what we're looking like, how shredded we're in, things of that sort. But as of right now, we're looking at junior nationals in Tennessee in June, or either North Americans in Pennsylvania in August. So it'll really depend. With those shows being so close, I'd probably have to start prep again around like March, depending how far out we're looking and everything. But if those shows don't work out, we have a lot of options in the fall. Also, we could do Amateur Olympia. We could do any of those shows down there. So it's really up in the air. But I will be on stage again in 2025. I can assure you that much, unless something crazy happens. I want to knock on wood real quick. But as of right now, we are definitely getting on stage again at 2025 and gonna go for my pro card again. So
Well, I wouldn't want to influence you, but I have a little suggestion on the side. If you're applicable to listen to it, there's a
mhm.
show. It's just part of Chicago Pro, which
Yeah,
is the Miss International. It is a pro qualifier exclusively for women's bodybuilding. A couple ladies I
really.
know have done that. They get their pro cards. Some competed
Hmm.
there. It's all you have to do is win in your class. You win the
Hmm.
class, you get your pro card,
Hmm.
and then you just do overall will get you invited to the
Hmm.
Rising Phoenix. Taylor
Wow.
Ragi,
Yeah.
she was it last year? She won her pro card at that show, and also
Hmm.
another young lady, a friend of mine, Yetta May, she competed there, but because there was her and another lady, they didn't get a pro card, but she did the overall. But the other lady who won in the heavyweight class did get a pro
Hmm.
card, but then she take the invitation to the Rising Phoenix. Maybe we
Hmm.
talk with Nasir about it. Look into it.
Yeah.
It's the same week as Chicago Pro. We can
Hmm.
use the bodies, especially for women's bodybuilding. It's a great opportunity. You compete in your class, and all you got to do is you win your class, you get your pro card, and then you do overall. You
Yeah.
get opportunity to get invited to the Rising Phoenix. But it's just something that you might want to think over it
Yeah.
when you talk with
That sounds
Nasir,
that
see
sounds
what your
awesome though.
looks are.
Yeah, because I really like our goal is to take the overall. We would love to get that, invite to a pro show and everything. But before I step on a pro show and everything, obviously I want to have a pro physique. That's the goal, not just a pro card, pro physique. But once I get my pro physique and everything down, like I want to go to Olympia and I want to do it. I don't want to rush, but I want to be like one of the first, one of the youngest ones up there for the first time ever. I want to break records. So, if that means, we get my pro card and I've taken 2 years off, 3 years off, like that's what I'm gonna do. I've done it before. I'm not worried about time or, how much I gotta train. Off season's fun anyways. I love like the idea of just like creating this like, you know, amazing package under what we're doing right now. It's just like so exciting. Even now I'm excited to see what I'm going to look like next year after I get cut down. But it's going to be it's just so fun. I love it. So
Yeah, yeah. God forbid nothing happens, but yeah, just be excited. Yeah, yeah, baby,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Just jumping into there. Here we got a comment from my man, KLA the Wanderer. Shout out to KLA. Yeah, he's ass sometimes. He says this. He says, "How many times do you eat in a day, Casey?" And George can answer too. Yeah, well. Here's the thing. I can. This is my like this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, KL. This is my shit. I built this shit. Me, big bad brick, and no other man who got a mouth about that. But I'm sorry, Casey. I got to put some people in their place. So what's like I said, what's the routine for you diet wise?
Yeah, diet wise, so we're up to about 2,000 calories right now. We're slowly getting, back up there in this reverse. Right now I'm eating, I want to say 5 or 6 times a day. Um, I eat a lot. I eat a lot, especially like my off season. He couldn't keep food in me. Like I would he would give me more, and I would just lose weight. I mean, I'm a big eater. Like I can eat. I can put down some food. But right now we're sitting around 2,000 calories. I eat so my schedule goes. I eat breakfast. I have 2 other meals. I do a pre workout meal, and then I have 2 meals. No, I have one meal post workout. So it's kind of how we're doing it right now. But I enjoy it. I like to eat. I love to eat, especially right now.
I love you too, but not as much like I used to. So my body can't metabolism like when I was younger. I could do run all day,
Yeah,
run all night, but now when you get to say, hey, I can eat half a piece of bread and then as I'm very brewed up, you can eat a whole meal
yeah,
and then not even a pound on you because your metabolism is so high. And, you
yeah.
young whippersnappers. This is from a man, Jeremy says, Casey, what are your thoughts on the new fit model division and how you might affect both the women's bodybuilding and women's physique divisions? Well, we talked about it earlier, but if you want to say your thoughts, like I said, you're not a big fan of it, like we said earlier.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm the best, like, biggest fan of it. Like, I love that we're trying to bring more women into bodybuilding and that we're giving this class or in a division and everything, gives a little bit more leeway where women can come in and like compete and like not have to be these mass monsters like us. And I love that. But also like, where's it gonna stop? Because the fit model now is like what bikini looked like, 10 years ago. And now we have bikini and now we have fit model. So where are we going to find these differentiations between divisions? And also I think that this division specifically, one, it doesn't look like they have a lot of muscle mass. So, same way with bikini, but like, how can we say that's a bodybuilder, when, we're not carrying around significant, I think you should have muscle if you're a bodybuilder personally, but I feel like that's just kind of a universal thing, I guess you could say, when you think of bodybuilder. But I also, it scares me for younger girls, that they're going to really start implementing like these eating disorder habits and things of that sort to fit into this category. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of just like it's a lot of insecurities, and yeah, I'm just scared for the balance that these women are going to find in their life towards this division. So I think that's the biggest thing for me, but I'd like to see a little bit more muscle if we're going to make a different division, so called.
Yeah, yeah. It's a comment from a man. Kaya, he agrees with you. He says this. Give me a second. He says, they're trying too hard to attract the public, and that's true. I
Yes,
mean, I understand you want to
that's
get
true.
more. recognition.
They
Like I
just
said
they want
earlier,
money.
fix the problem. Yeah, I know
Hmm.
money makes the whole world goes well, but also you had
Hmm.
you know the problem is you could have fixed it instead of just putting something on top of it. Here we got here from my man, sorry, my man, uh, Jeremy, the Art of Female Muscle podcast says, I think you have an excellent chance at the pro card, Casey. Think you have a bright future in bodybuilding. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Also, this is a comment from my man, KLA, the Wanderer. He says, how far do you see yourself competing, if I could ask? So, you, like I said, you, now, serious talking, you want to have longevity more than
Hmm.
that's the most important thing for you because you're still young. You're in your early 20s, still a
Hmm.
baby, still a little baby, and you want to keep going. So, what do you see as your future, as longevity wise?
I hope I'm in this sport as long as I can be. Honestly, I love it so much, and I really hope that like I see like 70-year-old like women up here, and like especially my first show. My first show, the people I was competing against were 50 up. They were all masters. So they were like 50, 60 years old, and I was like, I want to be you when I grow up. And they were like, actually, I want to be you when I grow up. And I was like, no, I seriously, like, I want to be, like, I want to be able to step up on a stage at 50, 60 years old and look freaking shredded with, they had shredded quads and everything. That's what I was like, I want to be y'all. So I hope I do it for a really, really long time. And even when I stop doing it, I hope I'm always in it in some way, coaching or something.
Yeah, that's a good thing. It's this there's a lot of future in this sport, just
Hmm.
especially if you have the right personality, if you understand the factors that are involved in it, the work, the consistency. One thing is not just motivation, but also the discipline that's involved. Because
Right.
most people can't do this. Do what you do. Get up early in the morning, train, work out, then deny yourself like, I don't know, I want to do this or do that. You have to
Hmm.
really be straightforward when you get involved in bodybuilding. There's no half
Hmm.
stepping. You have to, it's all in sport, and you just can't
Hmm.
be just in and out. You have to be consistent, focused,
Hmm.
and determined.
Hmm. All the time.
Yeah. 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 We got a comment here from my man KLA. Shout out to KLA the Wanderer. He says, you got your life ahead of you. Thank you, brother. Also, this is from my man Jeremy. Says, Casey, you are some of your role models in women's bodybuilding. So we already mentioned that because you were a fan of Elisa
Yeah.
Kisling,
Yes.
also a fan of Andrea Shaw, quite a few ladies. So
Mhm.
if you missed it, guys, watch it again. Because that helps me get
Yeah.
likes and followers, and you
Yeah.
watch it again if you miss it. And this is also a question from my man KLA. He says, how many times do you work on your posing? So you were
Every
working
day.
with your posing with Bree, and every day, because that it's
Every
a
day. But with
it's
Bree and
everyday thing.
everything, yeah, it's an everyday thing, honestly. Like, I'm waking up, whether I have check ins or not, I'm still in the mirror, doing my, front lat spreads, everything that sort. Just, being consistent and keeping that conditioning outside of, prep and everything. When it comes to posing, like, you still want to do an off season because you want to hold that conditioning and everything, even when you're in off season. It's going to just help you look better on stage and everything. So, you also want to, sometimes it takes filling your body out because everything changes so rapidly for most bodybuilders that you have to constantly pose, especially during prep, because, your body's constantly changing. So the way you may set up things or do things, like, it may be different from one day to another. So posing every day is definitely very, very important. And I think if you're, going to go aspiring to get on stage, I highly suggest, posing every single day.
Yeah, 'cause that's why one thing I don't ever do is ask anybody to pose for me because I know y'all post every single day. You don't have to do none for me because I know you
Yeah.
get tired of posing. Like I said, I like to just relax. I don't want to do this. And it's like I said, it's hard, guys.
Mhm.
It's hard work. That's why anytime
Mhm.
it's my ask me say, George, ask her to pose for me. No, I'm not gonna ask. She does enough posing. She's here just to talk. So mind your business. Mind your business. So we have this is from a man. my man Jeremy from the Art of Female Muscle says, what what have you found to be the best way to deal with post show blues? Is after competitions, when you like this is what people you after competitions, you just the posing, everything involved, the competition. You get like you
Hmm.
said, the post show blues. How do you deal
Right.
with it?
Yeah, going from that, super adrenaline rush to, post comp and everything, it's definitely different. It's not as much like go, go, go. Everything's kind of like settled down, chill. I wouldn't feel like I've had too much like post show blues, like besides like me wanting to eat everything in my house, which I'm just disciplined at that point. So I can contain myself, like whatever, like, okay, I'm hungry, like I can chill. But honestly, like just knowing what's next has really helped me. Thinking about especially this year, recapping this year, where I was sitting at the time I'm supposed to start prep this coming year, and the things I want to do different. And I think being able to kind of like look at this past prep has also motivated me for, off season and everything that sort. So I think just constantly staying motivated and finding something else to get excited about has really kept me from getting in this depression and binge eating and everything that sort, because I'm just so excited to see what's next, and just finding those little wins, those little exciting moments, like, oh my god, like my quads are so pumped up right now, I love having carbs, like stuff like that. Just makes me more like excited just to get out there and do it. And also, like, I love being strong and holding a good bit of mass. So, like, although I'm in off season, like, who the hell isn't happy to eat and lift heavy ass weight? So that's kind of my perspective.
Yeah, because it's good that you have that your youthful enthusiasm that really
Hmm.
just is refreshing, and really
Hmm.
that's it is youth. But also some youth they want everything done fresh and hot. They want it done fast. This is a process,
Hmm.
and with any process, don't just trust that process.
Hmm.
Understand it, learn, and then you invest in it. And when you fully understand it, then you trust it. And there's
Hmm.
so much involved with it. And people understand the mental aspects of it, dealing with depression from being post shows, body dysmorphia,
Hmm.
also